So for today's games, we're going to go ahead and play a deck that I played extensively last night, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, I'm probably going to be doing a deck write-up as my first deck spotlight for the Heroes of Skyrim expansion pool of cards. If you follow my content, it should look pretty familiar. It's a deck based on charge. In the past, you may remember that I had a deck that I called Ray Chargels. It was Crusader, and an entire kind of theme or like build approach was just how do you maximize the value you can get out of creatures with charge, because in my opinion I think charge is the most powerful keyword in the game. And that's what that deck did, and I was very happy with it. And then I went ahead and I made a different version that was Archer based, that we called Charger, and then I did Charger the sequel post Fall of the Dark Brotherhood. Now we are post Heroes of Skyrim, and we got some new tools. So this time it's a Battlemage deck. Speaking of new tools, Stormcloak Vanguard is here. This looks keepable. Monk might be a little rough, but let's just go ahead and get this right out of the gate. Let's get this going. So again, the idea is that you play this like a blazing speed aggressive deck. Well, that's a bit of a problem.
Come and warm yourself.
So he's probably going to end up getting a curse and then eating this. There's not a lot that we can really do about that. We can't answer then with the Vanguard the following turn. But again, we're just trying to push damage as fast as possible. That's tempting. This makes me also hesitate because this lends itself to potentially being a heavy prophecy deck. This is either like a mid-range monk build or it's like a commander monk. I normally don't like trading here, but Skulk is so important to get rid of that I think that you do it there. And then the following turn, if we don't have this available to mace or do something similar,
close ranks, let nothing through.
I'm actually going to put it here because if I put it there, that'll eat a curse for sure. Okay, he's just got Crushing Blow. But again, if we didn't have this available, then we could Stormcloak Battalion. But we do have Corsair Ship as well. I know that we're skipping out of a damage here, but this is still, in my opinion, the better develop. Waiting a turn to play ship and then make this be a 7-5 instead of a 6-5 is probably not worth it. Interesting that he's also playing this. This very much feels like a commander deck. And of course, when I say commander, I mean the infamous commander. And the reason I say that is because he's playing prophecy cards and he's playing this, which is like 0 value, but even with one commander, getting a free 2/5 guard is such huge tempo. So we're going to have to rely on a lot of burst here in the near future. Interesting that he's running as much Dwemer as he is. Crushing Blow there, but we've made him use 2 Crushing Blows. So there is that. So now we have some decisions to make. I think I like the captain, because it buffs, right?
Hand over the coin.
Alright, no prophecy that time around. Let's go with our best saturation option. This is almost for sure going to eat some form of removal. Alright, a Javelin. So I'm really curious now what the Skulk found. It had to have been the Spider, because he would have used a curse by now. This is a 0-cost card. Interesting that he's using curse to find this. Let's go ahead and go face. Sad that it gives him a prophecy. But really, we're just trying to dodge like guard and health gain. so we should be fine. Because this right here represents lethal, like, on its own, so... yeah, like I said, it's mostly just about, like, blind aggression. We're doing it this way because this lets us skip this last turn entirely, so we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, blind aggression, right? You just charge. Everything represents damage from your hand. Like, that's the ideal. Creatures with charge, direct damage to the face. Lightning bolts, direct damage to the face. The cards that are not direct damage are meant to just be things that buff your guys with charge, right? If you played Magic the Gathering, this is very similar to like an old red deck wins, or in many ways it's almost like a burn deck. It's just the burn is in the form of creatures as opposed to lightning bolts. You know, Magic the Gathering lightning bolts, obviously. So yeah, this is what I've been playing. I played this at the Invitational, and I had a lot of fun with it there. I've always played a version of this at some point each season, so it's not exactly a shocker that this is coming up. I do, again, like I said, plan on doing a full write-up that I hope to get a video for, get the deck posted this weekend. That's one of my two big goals. I'd like to get that posted this weekend, and we don't want to keep any of these against Mage with no ring. I would like, and I would like to get an episode of the Forge up. So this is an interesting starting hand. So the rebirths are meant to be like a, how do I want to put this? Rebirth is meant to be like a Swift Strike in this deck, because anything with charge that you Dark Rebirth gets to charge again, because the new creature gets charge. It's a bit of a bummer because we lose the captain if I don't use Shield Breaker, and Shield Breaker feels horrible there.
I'm ready for anything.
So we are likely just going to lose the captain and then probably lose this as well, which is a feels bad moment. Oh, okay. We are not losing it. Whoa, and he doesn't trade with the captain. That moment when you are utterly confused. Alright, so we're gonna do that for sure.
I have no fear of you cowardly schemer.
Power and glory. Come at me.
And we're gonna drive home some damage. Now, by putting this over here, he's not gonna get the captain buff, but I expect some trades and so forth to be made, so we're gonna try to diversify. Alright. Ends up being a moot point. That's a pretty rough prophecy for us.
I shall end their blasphemy!
Alright, so now we're back to not being in the greatest spot. Let's go ahead and play our raiding party, and then sadly we have to pass. I don't think playing either of those do much for us with no buffs on the board. I think we were doing relatively okay until he hit this. I mean, we're not out of it, but we're not looking good. Kind of, I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised he is opting to
My arrows shall fly true.
attack me there. Like, I'm relatively surprised by that indeed. Alright, plays the schemer and a quartermaster. Okay, so he's not full control. So that makes sense why he chose to attack now. So now our biggest problem is actually Dawnstar Healer. Believe it or not.
Close ranks. Let nothing through.
Fire!
Time to fight. Time to fight.
Let's get him to the cusp. Again,
My
we're
arrow
not
shall
a
fly
big
true.
fan of being in the situation we're in. If we had even just one buff, right, like one Northwind outpost, our board is drastically different right now. And being caught up on both of these early is a little clunky. I used to run 3. I've cut down to 2 for these exact scenarios, because it does happen. These are great when you have things like a Vigilante, but right now, not so much. We're just not pushing enough damage. And that didn't help.
Do your worst.
That still didn't help. Wow. This had the potential to be broken with like a single outpost play.
Close ranks. Let nothing
I
through.
mean, we have to slow him down.
Attack.
So we do have a potential like rebirth to shoot one of these.
Fire!
Fellows. Time to fight.
The prophecies are kind of brutal. We're just trying to get them low enough to where either lightning bolts can potentially win, or a vigilante with a rebirth combo can potentially win.
Time to fight.
My arrow shall fly true.
Alright, we're gonna do it that way. Again, that's not ideal. Hey look, leftover 4th of July fireworks are going off outside. So this is, again, kind of clunky. As you can imagine, when you consider that it's basically doubling our damage at this point, if we would have got an outpost, you know, semi-early, or if we could have kept that clan captain alive, we'd be in a completely different position right now. It's not looking good, that's for sure.
Your flesh.
Gotta hope for a low roll. That was not a low roll. That was actually pretty rough, all things considered. Yeah, that was actually pretty rough.
We stand united. Attack!
My arrow shall fly true.
So, we're basically dead to lightning bolt, and there's nothing that we can do about it, which makes me really sad. But we also could not have won that last round anyway, right? Because we would have had 2, 4, 5. We could rebirth 1 for like 6, 7. So
this was a worthy contest.
Yep, he's got the lightning bolt. This one was entirely just a clunky hand loss. I don't think it's reflective of our performance against Mage. We just needed a buff at any point, or we needed a... oh, it's not lightning bolt, but it's the same difference, right? We needed a buff, or we needed like a vigilante there at the end. A vigilante would have actually been enough for lethal as well, so... there you have it. There's the 2 games for the daily duels. Look forward to seeing this deck on a deck spotlight with some better highlighted games that aren't as clunky. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So until next time, may you walk on warm sands.